Shema Yasharallah Yahweh Alahaganawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasharallah Yahweh Alahaganawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasharallah Yahweh Alahaganawa Yahweh Achad Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Sai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Sai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Sai, Bahashem Hakodash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. I'm Zahab, Spirit Wind Lawyer, formerly known as Spirit Wind Judah. Today I want to go into a topic entitled Esau's wine has ruined the minds of our people. All right. Starting with, I was watching the Elder Apostle Bar's video that he did. I think it was today. And, he was going into the guillotine and, our brothers going to be martyred for refusing to take the charagma, the chip. But then he went on to go into plantation Christianity, and it triggered something because I had a dialogue. Hey, Shalom, Elder Yahweh Bahashim, I was Shai Brakatah. I had a dialogue with the Jake from West Africa, And long story short, he was talking about how, the Western world is starting to influence Africa as well. But he was still saying within the world that he came from, which Jake was Islam, and he was wearing the abada, which is like a long garment down to the ankles. And long story short, he was like, men ain't supposed to wear, pants. He feels more comfortable in his abada, which that's like a Hebrew derived word. I did a show, not a show, but a lesson on it, and I went into Akbada, but he pronounced it Abada, and I believe it's interchangeable, you know what I mean? But it's like a long garment down to the foot. And, he said he's real comfortable in it. He was like, women are not supposed to wear clothes that reveals their breasts and their butt, and he was deriving everything back to the Quran, but who fabricated that Quran? And where did this rules and guidelines come from? It's like women are not supposed to wear clothing that reveals the breast, that accentuates the body. But he was like, men are not supposed to do that either. And it's a spirit because, brothers went into this lesson. It was like the pants that men wear, they reveal your rod print, certain pants, people wear in America. And, it's revealing all these different things. And if you look at the word pants and the etymology, it really goes back to panties. Because in the Hebrew world, back to the way of our forefathers, pants, or I think the British would call it trousers, is an undergarment. You see? But Esau's wine, everybody's going after the what? They marveled after the whore. They marveled after the horror. They marveled after the beast. They marveled after the Roman way in every way, man. So the woman is walking around revealing her body to strangers, revealing her cleavage, her titties, her nipple, everything, purposely. Camel toe, they rapping about it, Like, you really leaving the house like this, man? Or just that he was going into the green hair and all that. Jake was going off in regards to religion, but we know where this mindset from his religion came from. You see? Oh, that's a spirit. I'm finna walk past some Elamites right now. They either Elam or Ishmael. I'm just gonna walk past them just to get the visuals. You know what I mean? But this is more of how our women, not them, not the ones with the dresses. All right? But this is more reflective of the culture of our women. But what messed our people up, man? Starting with that plantation Christianity, man. The Western Christianity. Because that was the invite. Let's go, Zaquan. It says pants, trousers. And it's from GMS, North Carolina, out of Hawaii. Pants, trousers, drawers. 1840. See, pantaloons. The word was limited to vulgar and commercial use at first. All right, but check me out. Check out these women, man. I'm just gonna act like I'm surveying the area right quick. Just act like I'm surveying the area and stuff. But check this out. You know? Come on, man. Come on, man. I can't make this up. You see? But you know, you can't make this up, man. You see? Going back to the way of our forefathers, man. You see? But all right, the proper way was everybody was covered the fuck up, man. You know? Everybody was covered up, man. But we learning, man. Even like, you know, Jake just didn't reveal the Israelites. We were a holy people, man. And just in the Western world, everybody's revealing themselves to everybody, man. You see? In even Israelites, there were these little shorts. You know what I mean? It shows it's all your thigh area and stuff, man. You know? But in the beginning, it was not so, you know? You know, Jake workout. You know, you might show your frame through it, but really, we had loose clothing, man. You know? But not just the clothing, shit, the behavior, man. You know? Strangers meet and fuck, man. That's a Western thing, man. We really had betrothals. We had brousal. I don't know how to say it in that form, but people were betrothed to each other, man. We really had arranged marriages, man. We really had weddings. All right, in Babylon, you basically have a wedding with the whore. You know, he got some outside kids, she got some outside kids, you know what I mean? You know, it's real ratchet, man, especially with the Israelites, man. You know? But the wine that made it so seducing was yeah, two through, man. You know? And then the wine that made it so seducing was the freedom. Man, you free to have sex with whoever you want to have sex with until you're ready to settle down and find your husband. You know? She done been to the clinic a few times, you done been to the clinic a few times, then y'all done met each other. You know, come on, man. You know, it's Babylon is through, man, but the wine has ruined the minds of our people. And the very thing that's supposed to have been a better for our people, it was a destruction of our people. Now, Edomite supremacy, because I say that Christianity was the Trojan horse for Edomite supremacy. It was a Trojan horse, man. It was the hair kitty to white supremacy, man. Christianity, man. And Christianity is the reason why Eve hate her motherfucking self, man. You can tell the level of self-hatred a woman has for herself based off how much she alters herself, man. You know? You know, the more she alters herself, the more she hates herself. The more she exposes herself, the less self-esteem she has, man. It's like a man is financially secure. A man is secure himself. He doesn't have to put money out on social media. He doesn't have to project wealth, you know? If anything, if you really got something, you sort of really be low-key with it. It's not to say you can't have nice shit, but you know what I mean. And I say this, real princesses, real Israelites are elegant. And motherfuckers don't use that word. You never hear that word in our culture, in black culture. Elegance, style, and grace. So you can wear those garments, those royal garments, all right, and you'll look very radiant, royal, elegant. You see? You see? Jake sagging, man. Boxers all out, man. Like you don't even know how to wear Western clothing, man. It's really, you're already going off. We're already going off by wearing Western clothing. But Jake didn't even know how to wear that shit, man. It's the reason why it has a measurement on the waist. 34-inch waist. And you wear it on your waist. Let's get that definition. It says, elegance is the quality of refined grace, beauty, style, and polish. Sophistication in appearance, behavior, or design. Look at the old school women, man. I wasn't there in the old school era. But guess what? I got some called YouTube, and I pull it up. And I watch them old school videos from the 80s. And I watch Shaka Khan in the 70s. You know? I see Diana Ross in the 80s. Aretha Franklin back when she was, that must have been like the 60s. When she was, you know, small frame and stuff, man. But those all natural, pretty women, man. And Eve was 120 pounds, man. And through our modern lenses, we'll look at them like, man, they were tiny. Nah, man. That's how an Israelite is supposed to look. Then you look at Jake from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Jake was lean. Come on, man. Jake was lean. And through our 2026 lenses, we'll look at a Jake from the 70s like, man, this man was small. No, that's how the Most High built Jake, man. That high testosterone, man, makes a lean body. High metabolism makes a lean body and a strong man. But now things are shifting because in the social media world, there's a movement called Lean is Law. So it's a lot of YouTubers that work out and they eat clean and they combine it and they say, look, man, fuck all that big swole shit, man. You know, it's lean is law. And they go back to the ancient world, man. That real health is that lean physique, man. Now, guess what? Some Jason is going to be big, man. Some Jason is going to be buff. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We ain't just copying and pasting. Most I didn't just make us, like, you know, with no variety. No, there's variety in our physiques. Just how certain Eve, man. Certain Eve is going to be curvaceous, man. Certain Israelite women, they're going to have a little more than the next one. Some going to be small frame, petite. Some going to be, you know what I mean? But just in general, man, we going back to the ancient world, man. You know, moderation. Hey, man, it's so much power because Esau teaches indulgence. And he got these 1 o'clock in the morning Taco Bell specials and 4 o'clock and all this bullshit. Bro, you know how much liberation you give to yourself when you stop eating after a certain time? 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 5 p.m., 4 p.m. And you just say, okay, I'm not going to eat after that. But you know how much better you feel in the morning time? But Esau, in his Western mind, he taught indulgence, man. Do what thou will, obey your thirst. But then years down the road, you struggling with health issues, self-confidence, poor self-image, all that shit, man. You know? It's just, but once again, man, Esau, Christianity. And then along with plantation Christianity was the matriarch, Big Mama's house, man. That has destroyed our so-called communities. It has destroyed our nation. The mind of the Israelite man, especially that Southern Kingdom Judite man, his mind is messed up, man. Because he got a generation of women that govern him, man. That's, you know. And, you know, let me get this right quick. This is from Prince Yanazar 144K6, 144K6 a lot. Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Actually, that's the spirit out. Because brothers be having visions. And brothers be having dreams. You know? Hey, brothers gonna have spiritual power, man. You know? If we endure this shit, man. So I can take that scripture and say, wait a minute. Brothers have been having visions and dreams, and you know, brothers be flying according to prophecy. We gonna have spiritual. Most likely gonna raise up a standard, because how else are you gonna be traveling when they shut the city down, man? All right. We're going back to the lesson. Esau has ruined the minds of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. And they all subscribe to Edomite supremacy, man. They all do, man. And then you have the so-called black women. All right, they're in the movement of being woke. So they might be aware of Western Christianity, plantation Christianity, but guess who they've grown to worship? Themselves. So even if they don't worship Cesare Borgia, now they're God. You got pussy ass niggas subscribe to their ideology. She is. You know? You know? This narcissistic mindset, man. But nobody of the 2/3, at least, is subscribing to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. The first author of beauty is Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, pursuant to Wisdom of Solomon, the 13th chapter, man. That's an Egyptian mindset to worship creation. That's a Hamite mindset to worship the sun, to worship the stars, to worship a woman's body. Yeah, a woman's body is nice, man. But it wasn't meant for you to be constantly stimulated over her body, man, because it's multifunctional. You see? It's a creation just like everything else. And guess what? She defecate, fart, all that shit, man. And she could bring birth to the world just like any female of any species can bring birth to the world, man. But yes, we enjoy the aesthetics of women, but we don't worship it. Because in the scriptures, it talks about women who is very fair to look upon, but then there were certain figures in the scriptures who were men, and it was noted that he was the most handsome out of all Israel. There's a couple figures on the men's end. It was like, yeah, he was the most handsome out of all Israel. The pretty boy of the nation, It didn't say pretty boy, but I'm being facetious. I'm being, But the Israelites are attractive, man. You look at all your uncles and your granddad back when he was in his 20s, man. You're like, damn, look at your granddad back. Oh yeah, he was a lady killer. That's all Israel. But one thing that fucked us up, going back to this damn devil, it's the lifestyle we lived in America, either working too hard for Esau or destroying your body through indulgences like cigarettes and just over drinking, eating a standard American diet. How do I know? Because my granddad died when I was 8 from diabetes. 55 years old. Now look at a 50-year-old like, damn, that ain't even old. You see? The doctor tell you to stop eating it, and you don't listen. But yeah, you gotta stop eating the shit, but you gotta really go back to the ways of your forefathers, man. America is killing the Israelites, man. It's killing Gad on the reservations. It's killing Jake in the cities. It's killing Northern Kingdom. Yeah, a lot of Northern Kingdom women are bad built, got the muffin top physique and shit, man. You see? All this came from your conquerors, man. But I'm not going to prolong it, man. But just reiterating it, the water for the scriptures and the definitions and the edification. But just reiterating, man, the way of Esau has ruined the minds of the Israelites, man. But with that, I hope this is edification. Once again, I want to give out honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Okay, let me get the scripture. Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. But yeah, hey, with that, till the next time, shalom.